So now let me bring it to the stage. We got him in here now. We were having some technical difficulties, and the difficulties were on me. I sent them an email with no link. So welcome to the show, Coach. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, Louis. How you doing, brother? Man, it's been a long time.
Man, it's been a long time. So just a little bit of background about me and Coach Korey. When I came out of Tech, I got a chance. It was Korey, and it was actually what's Dominique Wilkins' brother? Is it Damian?
Yeah.
So you and Damian Wilkins were the first trainers the first like player development outside of Tech. Like, at Tech, colleges now I know it's upgraded now, but colleges train you and prepare you, but it's nothing like kind of like what we were doing, where I really got to see how out of shape I was. You pushed me. Needless to say, I didn't know that me working with you was going to be planting seeds of me ending up being a trainer and a player development guy. So I appreciate you, man. How you doing today, though? You doing good?
Great, man. You a joy to work with, man. You worked hard every time we got in the gym.
Man, I appreciate it.
You had great energy. You went hard, bro.
Man, I love it. I love the process, man. So how's everything been going for you this summer?
Everything's been going well, man. I had a son this summer.
Congrats, man. Congrats.
So I'm excited about Cassius.
Okay. His name is Cassius?
Yep, his name is Cassius McCray.
We started any development drills yet? Or?
Not yet, bro. Not yet.
Coach,
once he get off the bottle.
Right. There we go. Hey, okay. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So normally, Coach, I like to start the show with questions like this. So, I know you were born and raised in Atlanta, Coach?
Yeah, right outside of Atlanta, Decatur, Georgia.
Okay. So coming on our first question before we get into all the topics that we have, favorite professional sports teams, and that's plural. So if you got baseball, basketball, whatever sports you like, and then all-time favorite athlete.
Yeah. So I always root for the home teams, Atlanta Hawks, Braves, even the Falcons, even though they struggle. But for the home teams. Sure. And my favorite athlete of all time is a toss-up between Muhammad Ali and Michael Jordan. Love them both.
So just like Coach Mike, segueing into this next question, give me in order, how do you rank Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron 1 through 3?
Jordan, LeBron, Kobe.
Okay, and just like with Mike, before we move on,
okay,
why? Now your take on LeBron is it because of just his greatness, or because he still has more left to go that you give him the number 2 slot, or what is it?
Well, I just think Jordan was amazing. I think Jordan never had a playoffs where he struggled.
Right.
He had playoffs where he didn't win. He didn't beat Boston. Okay, he didn't beat Detroit.
Right.
But he never struggled. He still destroyed in those playoffs runs. I think LeBron had a tough series against Dallas.
Yeah.
I think LeBron is amazing, though. I mean, I think LeBron is the best in the game. He's an amazing athlete. He's extremely smart. And so I got nothing but love for LeBron.
Right. Yeah, and I think, like I say, from an IQ, and also too, now with this question, I think we got to let all 3 of these guys be great in their own way. I think it's hard to compare them because obviously we know that Kobe took a lot out of Jordan's book. And
right.
I watched Jordan, but then I guess more so from my era, I would say Kobe was like what I studied. He was young.
Right.
It was like it was like a new because like Penny Hardaway was like probably when I really started watching and being able to see who were great players and understand it. Penny Hardaway was like that guy that stood out to me as like, man, I want to be like that. I want, I never bought a pair of Jordans in my life, but like phones, I would get the phones.
Yeah.
Anything related to Penny, I would support.
I'm a fan of all 3, but I'm a Kobe fan. I actually was at the game where he scored 81 on my birthday.
In Toronto?
Yeah, on my birthday. Blonde Wafer, a guy that I used to train, was on the team.
Florida State, okay.
Left me tickets. I was at the game on my birthday.
Right.
And
Toronto, right? He was at Toronto.
Yeah, against Toronto. He did against Toronto. Yep.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so I was blessed to see that performance. Probably the greatest performance, not probably the greatest basketball performance I ever seen in my life.
Right, man. That's amazing. Man, Korey, you just put me on something new, man. I never knew you were there.
Yeah, I was in the building.
You hear about it and you hear people talking about it and all that. And obviously I've seen it and all that, but to actually be in the building, like that's a legendary moment.
Unbelievable. Man. He got to 60 so quick.
Right.
How do you get to 60 quick?
What did he have in the first half? 40 something?
Yeah, but that third quarter, he just got really hot that third quarter.
And strange enough, it wasn't like that 81 was like him just like they needed they were down too, right?
They needed it. Yeah.
So Coach, would you now I know it's not necessarily about saying, oh, this is the top 5 best ever, but like what are your top 5 favorite NBA players of all time?
Favorite NBA players of all time? I would say definitely Michael Jordan, LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Wilt Chamberlain.
Mm-hmm.
The late Bill Russell, who just passed away because he was just a winner.
Right.
You know, probably those two. And then my last favorite probably would be Kobe. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. So growing up in Decatur, what tell me a little bit about your sports background and then what led you to being a coach?
Well, as a kid, I played all sports from baseball, football, basketball, soccer. Growing up, we did everything. You know, each season we played that sport that season. Right. And then my father was my basketball coach who started the Atlanta Celtics program in 1990. Wow. So, you know, after I got to high school, we just focused on basketball.
Right.
Right. Okay. Yep.
And then as far as with playing ball, high school, college, what was the inspiration to saying that you were going to turn it over and say, I want to coach now?
I always wanted to play basketball as long as I could play basketball and become a coach. I mean, my father was a coach, so it was in me. You know what I mean? Even when I was playing college basketball at Mercer, my college coach, Mark Sloniger, told me I was going to be a great coach.
Right.
While I was playing. So, you know, it's just always been in me. That, you know, that love for the game to pass down to other guys, to see guys grow, see guys get better, right. You know, and just to be competitive, just to, you know, take another team against another team is, you know, make the best team win. I love to compete.
Right. Now, I obviously, with me knowing you personally, I know before you got into college coaching, you were doing the player development side of things. Is there a difference in like player development and then like kind of getting into strictly coaching, or is it kind of somewhat of the same system? Because I know like having a guy like you on staff is a benefit as a coach or a role model, but also player development is critical in today's game with how high the skill set is.
Well, as a player development guy, you're focusing on one person or a few people that's in your group and how to get them better. You know what I mean? And you're working on their skills, on, you know, ball handling, shooting, whatever they need to do to perfect or to improve on. As a coach, you're thinking about everybody. Right. You think about not only your staff, everybody that's on your team, part of your program. You just have to have a bigger vision when you're dealing with a team. Right. Than a few guys.
Right. Makes sense. Now, so since we're kind of hitting on player development in today's game, you know, what's the most important skill set for a player to have?
Offensively, I think what you bring to the table, I think is individual. You know, each individual is different. So, you know, let's talk about some of the people that I named that are my top 5. Right, like Michael Jordan was an unbelievable scorer.
Right.
You know, he could shoot. He couldn't shoot like Steph Curry, but he could really shoot. But he was an unbelievable scorer, and he had, you know, just that dog in him.
Right.
And LeBron can score. He's about to break Kareem's record. He's an unbelievable scorer. He can shoot the ball. He's making the 3-ball at a high clip now.
Right.
But his mind is amazing. How he sees the floor, how he sees plays before it happens. You know, the way he can just remember plays from a game and how defenses play him. He can adjust. Right. He just has an amazing mind, kind of like a Magic Johnson, just amazing thinker on the floor. So I feel like Bill Russell was an unbelievable defender, rebounder, winner. So I think what's important is what you bring to the table. If you're an athlete, use your athleticism to block shots, to rebound. If you're a shooter, be an amazing shooter. If you are, you know, you can just go to the cup and just outpower people and just outwill people. Do that. You know what I mean? I feel like individually do what you do well and bring it to the table and be great at it.
Right. So in reflection of player development, and us talking about skill, if a player is in a slump, let's say like obviously today's game is a lot of shooting involved. What's the best way for a player to snap out of a slump?
Get in the gym. Get in the gym. Trust your technique. Trust your form. Get back down to the basics. Form shooting. Shoot after practice. Shoot before practice. And just gain that confidence by working.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just shooting it the right way every single time, and speak positivity to yourself. And and don't be timid on the floor.
Right.
You know what I mean? Have confidence on the floor. I think a lot of stuff can be overlooked, and you can overachieve if you just believe in yourself and believe in your skill and believe that you put the time in, that it's gonna happen for you when your name or number is called.
Fair enough. So if I'm a young player, me being the player development guy, if a player says, player or parent says, what should I be doing to develop my game, and how often should I be doing that? What would you suggest for a young basketball player from, we could say youth, 10 and up, 10 to collegiately? What should a guy be doing, and how, or what should be my routine? Am I going every day? Especially if I'm at a point where I'm committed to this sport and basketball is my main sport. How often should I be working on my game?
I think you should be working on your game at least 6 days, 5 to 6 days a week.
Right.
I mean, I think you can work on your game and not be in the gym. You can be in the bed working on your form shooting. Right. You can be working on your game by lifting weights, by jogging in the neighborhood, by doing ball handling outside in the yard, outside in the driveway or in the street, just working on your ball handling. I think you don't always have to be in the gym. Of course, you got to be in the gym to shoot. Right. You still can be working on your form shooting anywhere. You know what I mean? You can be laying in the bed at night and you see old clips of Pistol Pete shooting the ball in the dark as he's going to sleep. You know what I mean? I think you can always be working on your game, thinking about your game. And I think one of the best ways to improve is to watch film. That's one thing I will say. I'm going to reference those 5 greats that I love. Kobe watched film. Kobe studied Mike. Kobe studied his opponents. Right. Like, if you want to get better right away, because you can't control how tall you grow. You know what I mean? You can't control how high you jump sometimes. I mean, you can work on it and get better at it, of course. Right. But you can get smarter right away. Study the game. You know what I mean? Right. Listen to your coaches. Listen to your mentors. Listen to people that can help you. You know what I mean? And watch it. Everything is on YouTube. You know what I mean? Everything is right there for you. At your fingertips, man. Just study. That's one thing I can say that Kobe was amazing at from what I heard.
Right. And even there were some clips of him talking about guys that he took from watching Jerry West, watching like literally film from the 70s, 80s, just breaking down guys and like figuring out what did he do great and how can I take a little bit of that and add it to my bag. So that's a great point, Coach.
Absolutely.
With recruitment, if I'm watching it at a tournament or wherever it is, what makes a kid stand out to you guys, to college coaches, and what gives a player that it factor? Because a player could be off. I was talking to Coach about this the other night, Coach Mike Jenkins, and we were saying that a player can be off, right? But if you come in and like at high school games in South Georgia, like there are a few kids that are being recruited. And I don't know, I haven't seen them, but I'll go to the game and like try to watch in warm-ups and I had a friend with me and I was like, oh yeah, that's the guy right there. I was like, it's gonna either be him or him, and it'll end up being one of those guys. But it's just something different about how they carry themselves, how they warm up. So for you as a college coach, as a Division I college coach, if I'm watching a kid, what gives them the it factor?
For me, I love aggressive young men.
Right.
I love guys out there that are aggressive. I prefer guys that are not timid. I prefer, and when I say aggressive, I don't necessarily mean just scoring. I mean make a play on the court, defend,
make a play,
rebound, get a stop, get a deflection, get a block shot, get a bucket, get an assist, dive on the floor, want the ball, you know what I mean, and want to make a play, you know what I mean, cut.
Right.
just being aggressive on the floor. You know what I mean? I look for guys that are aggressive. And say I'm looking at a guy and I'm looking at a prospect and he's struggling. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna really pay close attention to his fundamentals, his technique. Mm. Because I like, his shot looked good. It wasn't falling today, but I can tell by his form he can shoot.
Right.
And the fact that he didn't stop shooting when he missed 3 threes in a row, right. He didn't stop shooting. He got confidence that he can make it. Right. So that mental mindset is really, really important to me as well. But I like aggressive young men, confident young men, alpha dogs. Right. Those are the type of dudes that, we need in the SEC.
So now let me ask you this in reference to that. Let's say if a kid has the dog, but he's more reserved vocally. Can that affect the kid being recruited?
Yeah, I think it's really important to be vocal, but I would say most high school guys and a lot of college guys too, Lewis, are not vocal.
Right.
That's one thing that we got to get them to do more is to be vocal. NBA guys are vocal.
Right.
College guys, somewhat. You have a few guys that are vocal. You have a lot of guys that are quiet. In high school, it's very rarely that you see a lot of vocal kids on a high school floor. Right. So that's not going to stop me from recruiting them, but that's something that I'm going to instill in them once we get them on campus and once we make them a part of our program, because you have to be vocal offensively and defensively.
Right. And adding on to that, even in my workouts, if we're working, let's say if it's 5 guys counting, mm-hmm. If we got 2 dribble, let's say if it's just a ball rip, 2 dribble pull up, we're going to 12. I try to train the guys to count. So even if it's not your mate, you count, because for one, that means you're paying attention.
Right.
If it's practicing you using your voice on the court. So I tell a lot of young men, a lot of the times they're using their voice for the wrong reasons. They're for chatter and nonsense.
Right.
Really, when it's time to be vocal and communicate, call the screen, or if I'm yelling out a play at a tournament and saying, hey, we're going 2-2-1 back to 2-3. I need 1 or 2 of those guys going to vocalize it. So I'm having to yell it out, but then reminding him to go tell his teammates. So me telling you is good for you to know, but everybody else is going to be a man-to-man if you don't, execute the communication. So, you guys hear from a Division I coach, communication is critical. And you use the example of pros also, directing traffic and things like that.
Very critical, Lewis. I mean, just think about it, even on the bench and you're not in the game, just cheering, just talking, just telling somebody to watch out for something as an assistant coach. I'm trying to help my guys as much as possible by the formation of the other team to tell them, look out for the back door, look out for the lob play. We're constantly communicating with each other. It's even better when guys are doing it on the floor with each other or cheering for their teammates, talking to their teammates as they're coming out the game and cheering for them while they're in the game. If you look at NBA a game, they're constantly talking, and you see the bench constantly communicating. They're in the game, they're cheering, and that's really, really important. As a coach, even when I look at the bench and I see a guy that's into the game, cheering, talking, my mindset as a coach is this kid is this is important.
Right.
This is important. Now I might need to play this young man because he's into this game.
Right. We got Tamani says nice advice. Thank you, Tamani, for your comment. We appreciate it. So now referring to that, so okay, coach. So you're at a tournament, you're watching a young man play, mm-hmm. and when he comes out, he's giving you the half-hearted high five. You call him back on the bench because he came out. You know what I mean? Like those things. So body language things can hurt players, right?
Absolutely. I think it's really important to be a good teammate. Now, I'm not saying play the game without passion. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that, when somebody's playing with passion, to me, that means they care. I understand that. But it's a time and place for everything. You can't whine and complain about every missed call or every time you come out the game or every time a teammate miss you.
Right.
Like, sometimes you got to play through some stuff because we all make mistakes out there on the court. We all make some decisions wrong sometimes. So I like positive guys. I like to be the most positive person if I can. I'm fortunate on this staff that is a staff full of positive guys and positive energy. But I think that's really important. I think that goes a long way, especially, you know how it is, Lewis. You played at Duke. You played in North Carolina on the road. All you got is your teammates.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it's really important.
The loudest place I've ever been. Like I couldn't Coach, I thought he was exaggerating, right? Like we played, it was about my freshman year. We played in the ACC Big Ten Challenge, and we were on the road at Michigan. That's when they had Shannon Brown, Mo Ager, 7 foot. Yeah, like 3 pros in the lineup, man. We, before the game, it was cool, and like as soon as the ball jumped up and tipped off, it was the loud. Like we really couldn't hear. Like I couldn't hear anything. So that week we practiced with the loud noise.
Right.
We did a lot of hand symbols because, I mean, it was so loud up there, man. Like you really, I don't think players think you exaggerate when you say like it's sometimes where you gotta like be able to handle and like communicate a point.
Right.
It's so loud that you can't hear anything.
Right. And that's where people don't realize it's that's where it is an advantage to play at home. You know what I mean? It's definitely a disadvantage to play on the road, but that's why communicating is important. Having chemistry with your teammates is important. Just paying attention in practice, knowing the game plan, knowing what you're supposed to do. Right. Really, really important because it's hostile on the road in these college gyms, bro. You know what I mean? Everybody is just really intense, turns up, a lot of energy. But it's nothing better than going on the road and getting that win.
Right, it makes the plane ride or the bus ride it feels so good, man.
Absolutely.
I used to hate losing games, or like when we went to Clemson. Like Clemson was short ride from Atlanta, so we used to actually take the bus, and like I think we lost a close game, and like coach on the way back, hey, don't go to sleep. You go to sleep, you're running. We watched the whole game.
Right.
We watched the whole game. We played at UConn. We lost to UConn by about 4.
Yeah.
We got back. We came back from Connecticut. It was like a 1 p.m. game. We got back from Connecticut. And we watched film, and then we went to practice, and then we went home. So it's like people don't understand. D1 is college basketball. Period. So college basketball period is just a whole new level of, tough and challenging mentally, and you get on campus and those. When I got to campus, I was 17. So you got Jared Jack, Will Bynum, all of those guys are grown men. Like
you play with pro.
Right. Yeah. So coach, with now we've been talking about recruiting. What type of players, and you kind of hit on it a little bit, but what type of players are University of Florida, looking to recruit? And if you can give me about 3 things that maybe can help some young men.
We like guys that are high character guys that are taking care of their business in high school, good students, good young men. You know what I mean? Like that's really important to us. Of course, we looking for guys that are really skilled. You touched on shooting. That's important to to the game right now. Really, really important to the game.
Right.
And we're looking for guys that are very gifted. I'm just gonna be honest. We're looking for guys that are really gifted, that is the best of the best.
Right.
And can beat the best of the best. Because that's the expectations here in Florida is to win.
Right.
When I say win, get to the tournament, win in the NCAA tournament. Not just make the NCAA tournament. Compete to win the SEC championship. You know, Coach Donovan did an amazing job winning 2 national championships here. So that's the standard. My boss, my current boss, Ty Golden, is a extremely smart, young, analytical coach.
Right.
Who uses analytics to break down, recruiting and what we do offensively and defensively.
Right.
So it's been a pleasure, working with him and being here at the University of Florida. Right. But those are a few things that is really important to us.
Okay, makes sense. So now with that, I guess I can guess skilled, high character guys. So high character also normally aligns with smart. And then we talked about the shooting ability. So what's going to be the style of play for 2022, 2023 for the Gators?
Oh, we're going to play fast. We want to play fast. We want to run in transition. We want to give guys freedom to plays, to probe, penetrate and make reads based off, what the defense is doing. But we want to play fast, hard, and we definitely want to score in transition early, and we want to give guys freedom. We're not calling a set every trip down. We're giving guys freedom to make plays, and based off who's helping, make the right read.
Right. And so will that include you guys looking to be able to shoot the 3 ball?
Oh yeah, we definitely, we got skilled guys. I mean, our our bigs are skilled. Our guards are, really skilled. So I think from top to bottom, we're definitely a skilled bunch, and I think that's really important in this game when you look at the analytical part of the game. And 3 points is worth more than 2 points. So
right. So that means threes, and then you want to try to get 2 feet in the paint for scores also.
Absolutely.
Right. So you hear that, guys? Inside out threes, transition threes, if that's in your package,
right?
And 2 feet in the paint finishes. So, Coach, this is just kind of taking a look at the SEC last year. So you guys are right at 9-9, very competitive league last year. Overall, 20-14. And that just shows you how competitive it is in you guys' conference now.
Yeah, we're all new staff, Lewis. So like we wasn't at Florida last year.
Right. No, I was just, but this was just taking a look at
Yeah, and not only do we want to score in transition and play fast, but we got a first team SEC big in Colin that we want to get the ball to as well, and he's going to demand a double team. If not, he's going to go to work.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, is that the gentleman that had to set out a little bit?
No, he had an injury at the end of the year last year.
Injury, okay.
Yeah, injury at the end of the year last year, but he played through it. He missed a few games coming down the stretch, season, but he came back, had to get a successful surgery over the summer, and he's definitely a horse for us, and we definitely want to feed him as much as possible.
And Coach, you had already hit on this too. Goals for University of Florida this season is to, you already said that you guys are looking to compete. You want to get it. You definitely want to get into the tournament. You want to look to be, high competitors in the SEC.
Absolutely.
Obviously we're trying to get to that dance.
Win in the dance, not just get there.
Right, get there and dance all the way.
Yeah, bro, I don't want to just get there, bro. I want to win once I get there, bro.
Right. So, Coach, before I go, I just got a couple more questions. Tell us what college coaches what colleges you coach for.
Okay, so I coach for Leonard Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
I coach for Ben Howland for. I worked for him for 9 years at UCLA and at Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for Johnny Jones at LSU.
Well, wait 1 second, Coach. So for those of you who don't know, Leonard Hamilton is at that was at FSU, right, Coach?
Right.
Okay. So FSU, UCLA 9 seasons, and Mississippi State.
Yep. And I worked at a JUCO, Chipola Junior College.
Very familiar with Chipola.
Yeah. Last but not least, I was a AAU coach for the Atlanta Celtics that I'm very proud of.
Atlanta Celtics, great program. Matter of fact, I got a dad right here. My guy Tay Water said, "Yo, need to get him in front of you tomorrow, Thursday morning." So basically, that's a young man that plays for the Celtics. He's heading up to the Chris Paul camp. So shout out to Jeremiah Waters.
What's up?
He has a lot of potential. But Atlanta Celtics, man. Oh, you guys got a guy that I love, Kai Fleming. I love his game. I know there's some guys that reclass and all that, but he's the best sophomore that I've seen. I watched tournaments in Louisville. I was in Alabama, watched several here in Atlanta and across Georgia. And just his skill and his ability is second to none. And he's a Celtic. He's an Atlanta Celtic, but it is
all the programs. Atlanta, the Stars game, Elite,
right.
Winfrey. It's a lot of great programs in the state of Georgia, man. It's a lot.
Would you look at Atlanta now like a kind of like a basketball capital to a certain degree now?
I do, but football is so good in Georgia as well. You know what I mean? Like Florida, I would say Georgia, Florida, Texas, California, so much talent, bro.
Right. And I think, with Georgia, we put out two guys that could be 2-star athletes. Anthony Edwards was a really good football player too, just using that as an example.
Anthony Edwards was the truth. Arguably, and this is a conversation to have, Lewis, one of the best that ever came out the state. If not the best, one of the best. He's in the conversation.
Right. And you know what? I think
he's in a conversation with Deion Glover, Dwight Howard, Lou Williams. Right. He's in that conversation of who's the best player that ever come out the state of Georgia.
I could agree with that because I like his game. And his work ethic, it looks like he has a tenacious work ethic too. That's what I like.
Yeah.
With this, obviously we talked a little bit about recruitment. How does the NIL impact the recruitment now with guys having the option to do OTE? You guys recruiting guys, and then there's certain I know there's certain things that you guys can't touch with that.
Right.
But how does that affect the process with recruitment?
Well, it's important. It's important. I mean, I think for young men coming out of high school, it's important that they choose a school that fits their needs academically and then, of course, on the court. Right. And then, when you have an opportunity to make money and to do something you love, play basketball, go to school, and also to make money, I think, it's wise to take advantage of that. I think it's in place to help young men to, do the best they can, not only just on the court, but financially as well while they're in college.
For sure. Yeah. And how does this, with obviously NIL and obviously with the transfer portal, does this hurt? Because it doesn't necessarily hurt you guys because you could get a seasoned kid, but does this hurt recruitment for young men coming out? Being that,
absolutely. I think it definitely. I think the transfer portal is definitely hurts. Freshmen. You know what I mean? Because it's a dilemma. Do you take a talented freshman or do you take a seasoned veteran? And that's in college usually. I mean, Kentucky is great at this. Duke is great at this, but usually older teams win. Usually, you're better when you got juniors and seniors.
Right.
And fourth and fifth year seniors, you're better than somebody that's a freshman.
Right.
Has potential, but hasn't peaked their potential yet.
Right.
So I think the transfer portal is very important. It gives you an opportunity to be good right away. Because a lot of guys transfer, or a lot of guys graduate, or a lot of guys go pro, and it gives you an opportunity to find something that you need right away, so you can be, successful and have a competitive team every single year.
Right, makes sense. Makes sense, Coach. That's a very, very fair statement. So, I mean, I think basketball is in an interesting state now. I mean, it's like we're almost in a state of positionless basketball in the sense of you need your guards and you need your bigs, and that big could be now in most cases a stretch four, and I guess looking forward in the future, do you see that like guys like, or like even looking at an Embiid and a Jokic, those are your, I guess, best post players in the league, and they both shoot the three, they both can handle the ball.
Thanks to guys like you, man. Everybody's coming so skilled, man. And
right.
Everybody can handle it. Everybody can shoot it. And that's really important for spacing on the floor. It's really important against defenses that trap or try to pressure you, to have guys on the floor that are skilled and can make plays for each other. It's funny because back in the day, the point guard was the extremely good ball handler, can set everything up. Now you got 4 or 5 guys that can set it up. Like, for example, Jokic can pass it, he can shoot it, he can make plays, and beat as well. So the game has really changed where everybody is really, really skilled, and it's important that guys get in the gym. The guys work on every aspect of their game, so they can not have a weakness on the floor. But I will say this is the most important thing is to be great at something.
Be great at something.
Whether it's rebounding, whether it is blocking shots, whether it's shooting, whether it's defending. Having a skill that is that you're really, really good at is really, really important. Makes you really valuable.
So, Coach, now pick, and I think that's a great point. You have to be great at something, but in today's game, if there had to be one thing that you were great at, or that if you could tell every player, like if you're picking out of your skill set box, one of the best things to have is a jump shot right now.
Right.
Like, and not just a jump, like an efficient, 36 to 42 from 3 and a great midi pull-up floater game, or
I think it's extremely important.
Mm.
I think it's amazing if you can really shoot the basketball. That makes you very valuable.
Right.
Also, I'm gonna still stick with this, Lewis. I've been saying that I'm gonna still stick with it. Everybody can't be Steph Curry.
Right, for sure.
Somebody has to be Draymond Green.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
even if your game is not shooting threes and the three ball is extremely important.
Right.
Extremely important. If you have a skill that's rebounding, if you have a skill that's defending, if you have a skill that is, I'm going to guard the best player on the other team, and that's my job.
Right.
Or I'm going to be an enforcer. I'm going to make sure that I bring toughness to my team.
Absolutely.
That is, I mean, what PJ Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
That's really important. Draymond Green is really important. And I think a lot of times our young men think that they have to be Steph Curry or they have to be the one that's shooting all Damian Lillard. And dude, you can be something else and be really successful.
Right. Right.
You know, think about the guys you play with. And some guys were amazing shooters.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you could do it all on the floor. I feel like you could score, you could drive, you could defend. You're a jack of all trades. But it's some guys that make it.
Right.
Just I want Mario West. I mean, it's just certain guys. I mean, Amo made it because he can shoot the ball so well. But other guys can get to their dreams by being great at something. Right. And I think that's really, really important. Of course, Lewis, of course, shooting is really, really important. It's really, really important. But I think too many guys feel like that's what their ticket is.
Right.
And your ticket can be something else to get you on the floor and keep you on the team, keep you on a roster.
Right. And make sure that we know now, because we got to be specific. Being able to shoot makes you valuable, but going back to what you just said here, be great at something on the court. So like you said, that greatness is something that players have to be able to do. And then now players working with us player development guys, we have to be able to. I told the kid the other day, it's not about, you can study your favorite player, but you got to play according to your skill set. So Absolutely. We can take stuff out of guys' bags, but you might not have. I'm not trying to teach anybody how to handle the ball like Kyrie or Harden because they have a special gift.
Right.
I want to teach you how to handle the ball with the least amount of tricks as you can because you want to just have a solid foundation according to your skill set.
Right. I think that's really smart. I think too many people want to be the superstar on every. It's only 2, 3 at the most stars on a team.
Right.
So those other 12 to 13 spots are guys that are specialists or guys that bring certain skills that are really important.
Right.
And I think a lot of times we pay attention so much to the stars that we forget that it's other guys that's doing something really simple.
Right.
And making a lot of money by just, not turning the ball over, not making mistakes, being mentally tough, rebounding, defending multiple positions on the court.
Right.
It's going a long way.
Right.
Because even if you are the leading scorer on a high school team or shoot all the balls on a high school team, you may have that opportunity in college. You may not. You may have to work your way to that spot in college. You know what I mean? So maybe you have that role as a sophomore, junior. You may not have that role as a freshman. Right. You may get to the NBA and, okay, so now you're on the NBA team and you're playing with 2 stars. If you're playing with, Brooklyn, you're playing with, I don't know, maybe not Brooklyn, but you're playing with 2 stars on the team.
Say Philly with Harden and even Maxey, because Maxey's great,
Yeah, and MB, you have to figure out how do I need to, stay on the floor. And a great example of that is PJ Tucker. They pay PJ Tucker so much money.
3 year, $30 million.
Defend, be tough.
3 and D, right?
Get in the corner.
Right.
That's it, bro.
And listen, you talked about this coming right here, be great at something on the court. We say 3 and D. PJ Tucker, I think, has led the NBA in corner 3-point percentage the last 2 years, 3 years, something like that. Or he's been in the top 3 the last 5 years. So that's a perfect example of that. So player, any young player watching this or a coach or parents, if you're, you got to be able to be realistic. All of us love, of course, our children, and we know our children are the best, but you got to be able to analyze the situation. And then also too, more than just your situation, analyzing the coach's system, and, you know, being able to understand the politics of coaching and certain systems and learning how to, you know, the only way you can outwit certain situations like that is through the work and, like you say, through studying. And when I'm on the side in practice, when they put me in the group, does he have to show me that play again, or am I the guys on the side? It's like directing traffic, because like you said, I'm an IQ guy like LeBron, more so to say. So these are all things to think about. And I think a lot of what we're talking about also too, coach, is player identity. Do players know their individual player identity? And then my player identity within this team system, how can I be effective? So that comes with the IQ part of the game that we spoke about with LeBron. So
absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, coach, man, I definitely appreciate you coming on and chatting with me, man.
No, man, it's a pleasure, man. We've been in the gym. We've spent a lot of hours in the gym together, bro.
Right, absolutely, man. We'll put it in. What was that gym we was at over there? It was like a church.
It was St. Philip AME Church, brother.
St. Philip, okay, St. Philip. Okay, they still hoop over there, so
yeah.
Okay, man. Well, yeah. Now I'm gonna give y'all 1 minute just to see if anybody has any questions. You got to do it on that YouTube link. I'll give y'all 1 minute before me and Coach get out of here. But oh yeah, let me read my. I like to add in just a positive note. So we got a motivational quote from LeBron. LeBron says, "I'm going to use all of my God-given ability and make the best life I can with it." So for everybody watching, that's what we all got to do. We got to use our talents according.
Amazing role model, bro.
Come again.
LeBron is an amazing role model, amazing player, amazing human being. And his son is the truth.
Man, you saw him yesterday. That looked good. He has a lot of potential.
Both of his sons are really
good. Right. And then Bryce is crazy. He has his pace is incredible. Like, he's tall. So it'll be interesting to see, man. What those guys do. I mean, obviously, we know they're going to be intelligent enough because I know they studied enough film with the Bruns. So.
Yeah, no, that's what's up.
Man. But yeah, Corey, like I said, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.
This is episode 13 of the Cre8tive Athlete. Signing out. We'll be back soon. I got several coaches. I got NFT people coming on soon. We're trying to get more women coaches as well. I think Daphne may come on from LSU. So this is Coach Korey McCray from University of Florida. Cre8tive Athlete, episode 13 signing out. All right. Thank you guys for watching.